This is a tutorial for my video, Gangnam Han Solo style. If you haven't seen the video yet, it looks like this. I'm going to show how I made this video from scratch. This tutorial is 30 minutes long, and a lot of people don't have time to watch the whole video. So I made a shorter video that shows how I got Sai and No into the scene, and how I edited the laser into the video. The concepts of this tutorial aren't exclusive to Sony Vegas. You can use any advanced video editor of your choice. I'm not going to show you every feature of Vegas. That would be useless for the people using Premiere Pro. There are hundreds of videos showing how to use every video editing program you can imagine, but there aren't many videos showing how to go from start to finish with a well-made video. I'm going to be showing you my workflow. I'm not going to be using a cheap example. I'm going to be using a video that has millions of views, and I'm going to show you exactly how I made it. Here's the table of contents, and you can skip to any point of the video that you want. Alright, let's begin. Let's start with a blank Sony Vegas project file. I changed what my setup looks like so it would be easier to follow. I'm just going to drag in a couple of videos from my folder, which include the music video and a clip from Empire Strikes Back. Since the only thing I want for the music video is the elevator scene, I'm going to isolate it by deleting everything that's before the scene and everything that's after the scene. In Vegas, you can split clips into two by pressing S, and I'm just going to organize this a little bit better by bringing the clip over and labeling it. This marker isn't really useful right now, but it can be helpful for more complex projects. In the preview window, the video is letterboxed, which means we need to change the project properties. This Empire Strikes Back video clip is 1280 by 546, so we'll set the resolution in the video project to that. This is the first thing you should do when working on your project. Click Apply to see how it looks, and it looks great, so I'm going to click OK. Since I know what I'm going to be doing for the video, I'm going to cut off any of the speaking parts, which are the beginning and the end of the clip. Now I'm going to go through the clip and split whenever the shot changes. Like right here, the shot changed. And I'm going to continue going through the clip and split there. And I'm going to do this for every single shot change in this clip. So I'm just going to fast forward through this section because it's very repetitive. And I think that's enough. I don't need anything after that point. I'm just going to go through all this and see if there's any shots I don't need and delete them. Like this one I don't really need. I can't really work with Darth Vader pulling away a blaster. So I'm just going to delete these clips. The reason why I say blaster and not gun is because I want to use the Star Wars terminology, even though I think they might call it a gun a few times. Because I don't want people going into the comments section and saying stuff like, actually, it's not called a gun, it's called a blaster. So I'm just going to avoid that mess altogether and just call it a blaster. Okay, I saw a couple of shots in there I don't really want to use, like the close-ups of Darth Vader blocking the laser. I'm just going to delete those shots. I haven't saved my project yet. I'll do that with Ctrl S, type in the name, and hit enter. Now that I deleted all the shots that I didn't want, all that's left are the shots that I want to work with. I'll move the music video clip a little bit closer so it's easier to access. I'm going to insert a couple more video tracks. Right-click a video track that's currently there, insert video track, and I'll do it one more time. Tracks in video editing are like layers in Photoshop. For audio tracks, the order of the tracks do not matter. But for video tracks, the order does matter. In Vegas, there's a lot of ways to lower the volume. But an easy way to lower the volume of an individual clip like this, all I have to do is grab this bar here and lower it. Let's go back to these clips and look for a good frame of the inside of the room. The frame we are looking for should have the doors fully open and there shouldn't be any other problems with it. And we need the best quality, so let's change the preview quality to best full and take a snapshot of it. We're going to give the snapshot a file name. Save it, and it will show up in the project media. Drag the snapshot to the second video track. Click the rightmost edge of the snapshot and drag it over here. It will make it so that this frame will last this long. Click the mute button for this track and it'll make this track invisible, and it will show the layer underneath it. Click the mute button again and it will make the track reappear. Drag the bottom video clip and bring it to the topmost layer. This video clip will now be covering up the snapshot we took. I'm going to mute this track for now so you can see the tracks underneath it, which is just a snapshot right now. Go back to the music video clip. Click and drag the audio down, and it will create a new audio track for it. Make another video track, and drag the track down, so it's right above the newly made audio track. Drag the music video onto this track. Drag the music video to the left, so it's underneath the movie clips. Click the exclamation mark. Solo makes it so that this is the only video track that is viewed. Click the solo button again to view all the tracks. Click the pan and crop button on our snapshots video event, and this window will appear. Click the checkbox next to mask, and have the anchor tool selected. We're going to start making our mask by adding anchor points like this on the archway. This archway should provide a nice spot to blend into the elevator scene. And as a choice, I'm going to go around the chairs on both sides. And click the first point to complete the mask. Look in the preview window and you'll see this is the opposite of what we want. We need to set this to a negative mask, not a positive one. A negative mask cuts away, showing the layer underneath it. Even though this looks pretty good, we need to blend it so it looks even better. We do this by feathering the mask. Go to feather type, select in. What feathering does is it makes it so it fades into the mask. Increase the feather percentage and you can see it starts to fade inwards. You can get some really great results that you don't expect to get. It's the closest thing to magic when it comes to video editing. I mean, just look at it. It looks like that there's a window behind him and that he's standing on the table. But that's not really my goal. I want them to stand on the floor and I really don't need a window. And I want to make sure that I don't feather too much because they start to fade away and he'll start looking like a ghost. So I closed out of the video effects window for the snapshot. I want to make it seem like that they're actually on the floor. So I'll make them bigger. And I'll do this in the video effects window for the music clip. Instead of mask, we're going to stay selected on position. And when we move the box, it will create a keyframe. Press Ctrl Z, and that'll undo moving the box and creating that keyframe. We only want to work with one keyframe because we want them to stay at one consistent size. We don't need to move the mask keyframe because we're not going to be making a mask. So everything we do on this box will be done on the position keyframe we just moved. I have it locked to size about center so that when I move one side in, the other side moves in with it. This makes it so that the image stays centered. And now you'll see that they'll start to grow. Since we're only working on one keyframe, what we do here will affect the entire clip. I'll adjust the position a little bit. They'll move in the opposite direction of where you move the box. Okay, I think we reached what we're looking for. Close out of the video effects window, and I'll just do a little bit of organization. I drag down the snapshot layer to right above the music video layer. Right now, moving this track isn't going to affect what the video looks like. Unmute the top track. I'm going to make it so that the doors open up into the shot. So what I need to do is cut out the room and that the only thing that'll be left are the doors. Open up the video effects window and then we'll start making the negative mask. Click the checkbox next to mask and make sure you have the first frame selected. With the anchor creation tool, start adding points so that you make a box that covers the inside of the room. And click the first point to complete the mask. And I'll just do a little feathering to make it look better. And I have to make this a negative mask so that it cuts out the room rather than cutting out everything else. So all that's left are the doors. Switch to normal edit tool. I'll make some adjustments by moving a point and moving this line segment here. And I'll move this other one so that it cuts out a little bit more of the room. And I'm just going to show you what the doors look like when they open up frame by frame. But the problem is that the mask doesn't move while the door is opening up. And we can fix this with a tween. Go to the last frame where the doors are actually in the shot and make a keyframe. And this keyframe has a copy of the mask we made in the first frame. Move the sides of the mask to the edges of the door, and I'm moving them with the arrow keys on the keyboard, or you can drag the sides with a mouse, whichever way you prefer. And the mask for this frame is now complete. Go back to the first frame and continue along frame by frame to view the tween. And it needs a little bit more work, so let's go to the last frame and move the sides a little bit. Exit out of the video effects window. We don't need the video clip after the door is fully open, so split it and then delete that part of the video clip. Looks pretty good, but I noticed one small problem here. You can see the elevator doors from the music video opening. So we'll need to move the music video clip to the left on the timeline, so that by the time the doors in the front open, the music video's elevator doors would be fully open too. And now it's fixed. Since I know the snapshot blends in so well with the music video, I'm going to extend the duration of the snapshot so that I can keep on using it for the music video. And the next thing I need to work on is this. I need to make it so that Han Solo shoots at no. And I'm going to borrow the negative mask that I used on the snapshot. Right-click the mask keyframe and copy. Close out of this window and open up the video effects window for Han Solo shooting. Right-click the first frame and paste. Click the checkbox and we'll see what it looks like frame by frame. As Han Solo starts to move forward, we start to see problems with the blaster. So I double-click the frame to create a new keyframe. Right-click the first frame and set it to hold. When you set a keyframe to hold, it makes it so that there's no tween from that frame to the next frame. On the keyframe, we start to see problems with the blaster. We're going to make a positive mask around the part that goes into the negative mask. This makes it so that this section is unaffected by the negative mask. For this mask, I'll feather inwards a little bit to make it look a little nicer. On to the next frame, and here there's a problem with the blaster too. We're going to delete the positive mask that we just made, and we're going to make a new one for this keyframe. The mask we deleted only got deleted on this keyframe, and it still will be there on the previous keyframe. Oh, and by the way, when a keyframe is red, it means that it's set to hold. And it's done. Time to go to the next keyframe. Double click to make the new keyframe. And this time we don't need to make another mask because this one matches up pretty nicely. And all I have to do is move it into the right spot. Next keyframe. Right click the mask, delete path because we need to make a new mask. And here's a useful tip for Sony Vegas. If you are using the normal edit tool, you can quickly switch to the anchor creation tool by holding down Control. And when you let go of Control, you'll go back to the normal edit tool. For this mask, I'll do some outwards feathering, just so it looks a little bit better. For this keyframe, we'll move the mask. But the mask almost matches up. So what we have to do is move some of the individual points into the right spots. And done. We'll skip the next frame for now and work on the one after it. Add a keyframe, select the positive mask, move it into place, move some points around so that the mask fits perfectly around the blaster. And now we're going to take care of the previous frame that we skipped, and we'll do that by making a tween. Choose linear. A tween transitions from the first keyframe to the second keyframe, and on the next frame, it looks like I don't need to adjust the mask, so I'll just leave a keyframe here and move on. And on the next keyframe, I'll select the mask and move it down, and it fits perfectly. Since moving the mask is so repetitive, I'm just fast forwarding through the next few keyframes. And after you're done setting all the keyframes, just close out of the video effects window and test it. Now we have to add the laser. Copy the video event that we were working on and paste it on the top track. Go into the video effects window and delete all the keyframes because we don't need the mask. We're going to make another mask, but this time it's going to be for the laser. Turn off the mask, and we're going to look for the first frame where we see the laser, and delete all the frames before it. And I can do that by dragging the leftmost edge of the clip. Also, I took off some frames at the end, but that's not really important. Open the video effects window for the top clip, and delete the mask that's on the first frame. Zoom in on the laser with the scroll wheel, and add points around the laser. And complete the mask. And I'll add one more point, to make it more rounded. On this mask, I'm going to do some outwards feathering, so that it captures the glow of the laser. And on this next frame, I'm going to show you this problem that I ran into. And let's start by moving the mask onto the laser. Look in the preview window, and you'll see the white on the laser. This effect is from the laser passing the window. And in this case, we don't want it, because there's no longer a window in the video we are making. We can make it so that the mask only includes the red portion of the laser. But that still doesn't fully solve our problem, because if we make the mask only include the red portion of the laser would be too short. So I've got a better idea. Let's start by deleting this keyframe and closing out of the video effects window. And we're only going to keep the first frame of this video clip, because that's the only frame where we successfully masked the laser. And copy that frame and paste it as the next frame, and go into its video effects window. Select the position keyframe, and turn off maintain aspect ratio. And make sure you have size about center selected. And as we narrow the box like this, it will stretch out the laser horizontally. In the first frame, the laser was just coming out of the blaster. Now we have to position where the laser would be next. And don't forget, it actually moves in the opposite direction of where you move the box. After moving the laser, I noticed a problem with the mask. The blaster actually goes inside of the mask a little bit, so we have to adjust some of the points away from the blaster. Now that we're done fixing the laser, we can close out of this window and see how it animates with the other frame. Looks good, but we still need more frames. So copy the second frame and paste it as the next frame, and go into its video effects window. And on the position keyframe, move around the position box so that the laser is hitting him. Close out of the window and compare it to the previous frame. The second frame needs some adjustment. Open the pan and crop window. We're going to move its position because it's too similar to the third frame. So we're going to move the laser closer to the blaster. Close out of the window and let's test it. It looks like he absorbed the laser. We need to make it so that he reflects the laser. But first, let's do the glow effects. So we're going to copy the frame with Han Solo where the whole room is bright white and paste it in the top track. And go into the pan and crop window, delete all the keyframes, and delete all the masks. And what we're going to do is make this really cheap effect. We want to capture the bright light. So make a box around the bright section. It doesn't have to be specific. Just don't include the dark areas. So don't include Han Solo in the mask. We are going to resize this box. Go to position, and turn off lock aspect ratio and size about center. And what we want to do is resize this box so that it covers up the entire music video portion. So we want Psy and No to be completely covered up by this bright box. It's okay if Han Solo gets covered up a little bit by this box. We'll handle that later. And after you're done, close out of the window. Grab this bar here at the top of the clip. As you pull it down, you'll start to see that the clip becomes more transparent. Make a new video track, and drag this clip to the newly made video track. Copy the video clip and paste it 4 times, so we have a total of 5 clips. Go through all the frames and fade them more so that Psy and No's brightness matches the surrounding rooms. and now we have them at the right brightness. But we still have this bright box over Han Solo's arm. But don't worry, we can easily fix this by dragging the top video track to right under the Star Wars track, so that the bright box only affects the music video. And I noticed that there's this ugly spark on this one frame on the Star Wars track, so I deleted that frame, and copy and paste the previous frame into that one spot. Now we're going to continue the other special effects. On the Star Wars track, copy the first frame where the laser hits Darth Vader's hand, and make a new video track. Paste the frame we copied onto that video track, open the pan and crop window, and delete all the keyframes and masks. And we want to make a mask around the sparks created by the laser. So add points around the explosive sparks, complete the mask, and I'm going to fix it up a little bit. And I'll set an outwards feather. Close out of the pan and crop window, click and hold the rightmost edge of the clip, and pull it to the right so that the clip extends for a total of 4 frames. Drag the top right corner of the clip all the way to the left. This makes it so that the clip fades away. Drag down the top bar so that the clip starts off transparent. Right click the clip and open Video Event, Pan and Crop. This is another way of getting to the pan and crop window. On the position keyframe, move the sparks to where the laser hits no. Close out of the window, and review our work on the sparks. And it looks correct. Copy the last laser frame, and paste it under the second sparks frame, and open its pan and crop window. Now we're going to make it so that the laser is reflected. Right click and flip horizontal. Now the laser is slanted the other way. Pull in the sides so that the laser is stretched out, and move the laser into place. Close the window, copy the laser frame, and paste it as the next frame. Go into its pan and crop window, pull the sides in so it stretches more, move the laser so it's reflected away, and close the pan and crop window. And do the same thing all over again. Copy this laser frame, paste, pan and crop, pull the sides in to stretch the laser, and move it into place. And close the pan and crop window. And you might want to make it so that the laser fades away as it's deflected. Pull down the top bar on the laser frame. And do the same thing on the previous frame, but not as much. And one more time on this frame. There's a problem with the timing of his thrust. We want to have his fully extended thrust just as the laser hits. We don't want no raising his arms like this because it looks like he's missing hands. Select the length of the Han Solo shooting clip with the loop regions, and it tells us the length of the selection in the bottom right, which says 17 frames. We're gonna use this measurement to select an early part of the music video's elevator scene. Solo the music video track, and to look for a good spot. And this part will work. So take the loop region and drag them over here, and select the loop region, and make sure you have the music video clip selected too. Control C to copy. Bring the loop region to where we measured it originally, where Han Solo was shooting. Turn off Solo on the music video track, select the loop region, and delete the 17 frames from the music video, and paste what we copied. Now we have to time it so that he fully extends his thrust exactly when the laser hits him. So we are going to move around this clip until we get the timing right. And this is the thrust timing I'm looking for. And extend the music video clip to the beginning and the end of the 17 frame shot of Han Solo. Push the end of the music video to the right and extend the beginning of the clip. And we need the room cutout from the movie. Copy the cutout of the room and paste it for the second time Han Solo shoots. We want this clip to start before No raises his arms up. So move this clip to the right and pull the left edge to the left to extend the beginning. I'm looking for the beginning of a thrust. And then delete the beginning of the clip until the start of a thrust. Pull the left edge to the right until it reaches the first frame of the thrust, and move the clip to the left. Select the frames involving the laser and the glow effects from its impact. So that would be these video events on tracks 1, 2, and 4. Copy them and paste it over here to have him deflect the laser a second time. This time, we won't have Han Solo in the shot. We need to make the laser come from the left side of the screen. So copy the first laser frame and paste it as the previous frame. Move the laser to the left. And make the laser smaller because for some reason the laser stretches out the further it goes. Now I'm reviewing the trajectory of the laser. And in the second laser frame, we want to move it down a little bit and more to the left. So open its pan and crop window and put it in the right place. It looks good now, but the third frame might need a small adjustment. This time, we need to make it so that the flash covers the entire screen. So make the position box smaller so that it stretches. We don't even need the mask, so delete it. Go back to the position keyframe. Make some small adjustments. And for maintain aspect ratio, choose no. And now the flash will cover the entire screen. Copy the laser frame we just edited, go to the next frame, right click, and paste event attributes. What this does is it copies the position and the mask keyframes from the video event you copied and pastes them into this video event. Select the next 3 frames and paste event attributes again. So now the bright flash covers the whole video for these 5 frames. Go over to the doors video event and copy. We're going to use this to make the doors close. Paste it on the top video track after you deflect the laser the second time. Right click and reverse so that the doors close. But we need to fix the mask. Open the pan and crop window. We need to reverse the keyframes. The first keyframe needs to be the last frame now. The last keyframe needs to be the first frame. And the second last keyframe needs to be the second frame now. We have to do this because when we reversed the video event, it didn't reverse the keyframes inside of it. Let's make it so that the doors close more. Copy the last frame and paste it as the next frame. And paste it again on the track underneath. Mute the top track and open the pan and crop window for the lower one we pasted. And delete all the masks. And we're going to make a new mask just for the left door. We don't want to mask all of it, just most of it. And do some feathering, and move it to the right. Unmute the top track, and go to the pan and crop window for the top frame we pasted earlier. Increase the feathering, and move the sides of the mask outwards a little bit. Copy the lower frame, and paste it on the track underneath it. We are going to move the mask from the left door to the right door. And on the position keyframe, we are going to move the door to the left. Copy the top frame and paste it a bunch of times on the top track. Solo the second track and open the pan and crop window on the frame that's there. And uncheck the mask. Set the video preview to best full and take a snapshot of it and call it door. Drag the door snapshot down to the second track as the next frame, and on the previous frame, have mask checked again. Copy the frame, and paste event attributes on our snapshot. I made a small mistake of taking a snapshot of the door after I moved it, but I'll leave it be. Unsolo the second track, and delete the first frame. Move the snapshot over, and copy it. Move the right door frame to the right, and paste the snapshot in its place. Copy the right door and paste event attributes on the snapshot, and delete the original right door clip. Because of my bad snapshot, I have to move the mask to the right. And make some adjustments with the doors positions, so that they're more closed. We are now using a snapshot for the doors, so that when we extend the video event, it will be just this frame over and over again. So now we have both the left and right door video events extended for a few frames. Open the pan and crop window for the left door, and on the last frame, move the door to the right so it will be in its fully closed position. And fully close the right door too. Now the doors will fully close with a tween. Open the pan and crop window on a frame in the top layer. We need more feathering, so I'll change it to 20. Delete all the other frames on this track, and copy the new one and paste it in their spots. Even though there's some flaws, it will look pretty good in motion. With the selection tool, select all these door frames and move them one over to the left, and move the flash frames from the laser one track up, and then switch back to the normal edit tool. Copy the shot of Lando turning his head, and paste it right after the doors close. And right-click and reverse, so that the doors close. Move it up one track. Copy the first frame, and paste it on the top track as the next frame. Open the pan and crop window, and make a positive mask of Lando. And leave a lot of extra room, so that it covers him when he moves on the track underneath. What we are doing is making it so that Lando stays still as the door closes shut. Complete the mask, and do an outwards feather. Close out of the pan and crop window, and copy and paste this frame until the end of the clip. Let's test the whole door sequence. And we're done with all the visual edits. I'm just going to clean up the workspace a little by deleting the stuff that we don't need. Everything seems to be correct. Time for audio editing. I don't like Chewbacca's roar here, so instead I'm going to use one I found online. Right-click the audio track and insert new audio track. I'm going into my folder and dragging in my Chewbacca audio. In the audio clip, drag the top left corner to the right so it fades into the audio if there's any subtle background noise. Cut off the end, and drag the top right corner to the left so it fades out. Right-click the fade and change the fade type so that it fades more quickly. That's way too loud. Drag the top bar of the audio down so that it's quieter. Okay, the volume is fixed. Now let's look at the rest of the audio. Cut off this dialogue at the very beginning and fade into the audio. We can hear Darth Vader breathing. Cut off some of the audio and make it fade out. And the music we add later should cover up any sounds that we don't want at the end. I forgot to get rid of the old Chewbacca roar. I'll delete that now. And delete some of the audio at the beginning here because the roar carries out into it. Video and audio events are attached by default in Vegas. Press U to separate the events. Extend the audio from here all the way through to here and make it fade out. And make it a little bit shorter. Go back to the doors opening and copy the door sound effect. And paste it when the doors close. Get the timing right, fade in, and lower the volume so that the doors are quieter when they close. Extend the audio a little and fade out. Move it a little bit so you can get the timing right. Needs more fade. Sounds good. Now let's hear it with music. Make sure all tracks are muted and none are soloed. Extend the music to the beginning and play. The sound effects weren't nearly loud enough. Mute the music track again. Select all of the sound effects on this track, right-click one of them, and choose Channels and Combine, so that these sounds come out both speakers equally. Press V. This is the volume envelope, and it allows you to adjust the volume at different spots by adding points. Double-click the line and add 2 points on both sides, and pull this line up, and the 2 inner points will rise with it, raising the volume of the audio events on it. The music should be quieter too. Right-click the sound for the blaster shot and normalize. This will make it even louder. I'm just going to make some small adjustments on the sound of the door closing. Select the music track and press V. Add points on the volume envelope before the start of the music. Add a couple points when the door is open. And add a couple points when the doors close. And add a couple of points at the end. Lower the line at the beginning to make it so it's quieter before the door is open. We don't need this whirring sound at the beginning, so cut off the beginning. Right-click the fade and change the fade type. Raise the volume in the middle section so that when the doors are open, the music will be louder. I think the fade should start a little sooner, and it should be a little bit longer. Move the left point left, and move the right point right. And a little bit louder. Chewbacca needs to be quieter. We don't want this thing to turn red. That tells us that everything is too loud. Chewbacca is quiet enough, but that laser is too loud. Press V to hide the volume envelope, and lower this top bar for the laser's audio event, and press V to show the volume envelope again. I need a little more of the laser sound effects. I want a faster fade out, so right-click the fade and change the fade type. For audio editing, you just play with it until it sounds good. The music needs to be quieter when the doors are closed, and put it at the end and have it go down. I think we are done. Let's test the whole video. Yep, it's all done. You can spend a little more time polishing the video to make sure that everything looks good, but what we have here is acceptable. Please leave feedback in the comments, positive or negative. Was I explaining too much? Did I go too quickly? Was it too difficult to follow? Is there something you would like to learn how to do? Anything at all, so I can improve for my next tutorial video. And next time, I'll be showing you how I made Skywalker. Subscribe.